Hello Minecrafters, this is Minecraft Survival 102. I'm Adam Antarks, and this is a special 102 series that I am doing on Nether Basics. Last time, we very briefly went through setting up a Nether portal, entering a Nether portal, and doing our first sort of big step in exploring the Nether, which is to build a base of sorts, a very simple structure around our Nether portal to protect it from ghast attacks primarily, but also to protect it from anything else. But mainly ghast attacks is our concern at this point. The next big step is to look around the Nether until we find the Nether fortress. Now, in my case, I've already found this Nether fortress, and I know where it is. But bear with me for a moment and imagine that we had not found it. This is actually a video that I'm making after the fact, because I decided that it would be a good intermediary step between sort of this first step of building the base and the next step of creating the what shall we call it, the Nether Fortress Blaze Trap. And a good intermediary step is to make sure that you have the right things for exploring the Nether. Some of these are things like items that you carry with you. Some of these are just preparatory steps that you do. The very first step you want to do is you want to make sure that you've gotten rid of most, if not all, of your enchanting levels. Now take a look at my enchanting levels. Now sort of that little green number right there. Notice that that number is 1. Right? That's fine. That's very low. That's easy to get to. I'd say anything like 1 through 5. Is as long as you're within that range, you're fine. If you die, you lose a great deal of experience, and there's a good chance you can die in the Nether. And so you don't want to die when you have 29 or 30 or even like 20 levels of enchanting, right? So you want to make sure to go ahead and spend those. Maybe use your enchanting setup and your anvil to make some books, and just do that until you get those down to 1 through 5. The next thing that you want to do is you want to take note of the location of your Nether base. So we're standing in our Nether base now. We'll go ahead and sort of center here on our Nether portal, but don't stand in it or we'll be back in the overworld. I'm going to hit my F3 key, and I'm going to take a look at that XYZ coordinate. Right? If you look to the left, you will notice that it's sort of paragraphed off into different sections. The second quote-unquote paragraph begins with XYZ and block. Those are our coordinates. I want to look at those coordinates -19, Y, which is our height, 32, and Z, 7. I want to look at those XYZ coordinates and I want to write those down. I have an index card that I keep by my desk. And I write down my coordinates on that index card. In this case, I'm going to write down Nether base, and I'm going to write down those coordinates. Alright, that way I can get back. It's easy to get lost in the Nether. No matter how good you are with directions, and I'm naturally in real life too terrible with directions. So I like to write down my coordinates. That way we can get back. Alright, the next thing that we want to do is we have a number of items we need to bring with us. And a number of items that we want to leave behind. Now, I think the best way to handle this is to bring our super awesome diamond armor enchanted setup, right? Bring all of that. Sure. But also bring some alternate, I would say iron armor, since I have a lot more iron ingots than diamonds. I have a stack and a half of diamonds, but I don't want to waste diamond, right? Even so, I don't mind losing a little bit of iron if I die or fall into lava. And with this setup, the only thing that can really kill me realistically, unless I just stand there and try to die, the only thing that's really going to kill me is falling into lava. none of these monsters really threatens me. Maybe a big swarm of zombie pigmen if I didn't know how to do combat at all. Maybe they would be a threat. But it would take them a long time to kill me with this protection 4 diamond setup. No, what can kill me is getting knocked off of a ledge by a mob, namely a ghast, and falling into a lava lake. Like, imagine falling down into the middle of that. If that happens to you, you're done. So you don't want that. So now, there is another item that could be of use. I didn't bring one because I'm gonna have it set up so that if I'm working over lava, I don't care if I die. But if I did care, I'd probably bring a couple of ender pearls, because if you throw an ender pearl, it teleports you to that location. But there again, you fall in the middle of that lake, you're not going to be able to throw that ender pearl far enough to land you anywhere in safety. At that point, you just want to make sure that none of your good stuff is in your inventory, because as I've told you before, and as you probably already know, lava is the worst way to die in Minecraft, because you lose all of your things if you fall into lava. I suppose the void would also do that, but if you're playing survival mode, you have to have some very special techniques to even access the void in survival mode. It should all be blocked out by bedrock. Lava is your main concern. Okay. What is a ghast? A ghast is a giant, ghast. It's a giant ghost that shoots fireballs at you. The fireballs themselves, I don't think, do that much damage, even if you have iron armor on. But what they do is they absolutely destroy and obliterate netherrack. And that is why the next step is to have a lot of cobblestone with you and lay down a cobblestone floor in the place that you know you'll be traveling a lot. Or if you need to bridge across a gap to get to a nether fortress, as we did here, actually. Then you want to have cobblestone for that. If a ghast shoots me here, I will laugh in his face. I don't really care, because he is not blowing away my means of walking and knocking me down into the lava. I'm not saying that other mobs can't be a threat in the nether. They certainly can. I think the next biggest threat is typically a wither skeleton, but I also think they're pretty easy to fight. But the main threat is getting knocked into the lava. Alright, you will notice that I brought along an extra chest. That is not just an accidental leftover in my inventory. That is for a reason. For a moment, I want you to use your imagination. I want you to imagine this as it once was. See that cobblestone walkway there? That was not there. That was just a lava pool. It was quite dangerous going across there. So I had to go out there and place those blocks. Well, what actually made that dangerous is there was a ghast flying around up there shooting at me. So, if you're faced with that situation, what do? Well, number one, we've gotten rid of our enchantment levels already, so if we fall in and die and lose one level, no big deal. Number two, I want to go to a safe area that's somewhat near where I'm going to cross. I think this is a perfect spot, and thus I dug this out and cobblestoned it for that reason. I'm going to place my chest there, open it up, see it's just a small chest, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to unload and replace my diamond armor setup with my iron armor setup. This iron armor is enough to give me a fighting chance if I have to fight a ghast or something like that. Anything of mine that's really good, or that for now, for our purposes, that I consider irreplaceable, I am going to throw it in this chest. Okay. Cobblestone is definitely replaceable, but if I'm only going to work with 3 stacks at a time, I might as well not lose those. And I like to have a supply of cobblestone in the safety chest too, so that later when I come back, oh crap, I'm out of cobblestone, can't find cobblestone in the nether unless I placed it there, I've got to go back to base. No, I don't, because I have a supply that I left for myself here. Trust me on this one. That's important. Torches are no big deal. Food's no big deal. I love this bow. It's an awesome bow, but you know, right now I'm not fighting the ghast. If I need to fight the ghast, I will lure the ghast back here. Then I'll use the bow in the chest and fire at them from here. But for now, we're imagining that we're going to be out there cobbling across that lava. Okay, so don't need a bow for that. Alright, this is an expendable setup. If I die right now, a non-enchanted diamond pick, I need it. I guess I could deal with losing that. I have a stack and a half of diamond. But I just don't want to lose a whole armor set full of diamond. If I really wanted to be crazy with it, yeah, I'd have an iron or a stone pick there. But I'm fine. The reason that I like having a diamond pick there is because it's fast. And I want to be able to work very fast if I'm going across lava. But if I wanted to absolutely obsess over that, I could just leave that here too. But if I die now, I have very few regrets. Make sure my armor's on. Good. Now what we would do is we would build across this. A skill that you probably know already if you've made it to the nether, but I'm going to share it with you nevertheless. This is what's called edge building. Notice how if I walk off the side of that cobblestone, I fall, of course, right? Well, if you crouch, notice how I went down. I can actually see if I can adjust the view here. That's crouching. If I crouch, I can walk right out to the edge, almost over the edge really, and I'm not going to fall off from me doing anything. Now if I stop crouching, I fall right off. Hello. Okay, see that? And this is how you edge build. You crawl up to the end, you build, crawl up to the end, build. When I built, when there's a huge gap, sometimes you have to do that. There is a way to use a piston to fire stuff out, right, for so many blocks, as far as a piston will push. I've done that before on rare occasions, but I don't mind. If I lose this little bit, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'll just die and come right back and go back to building. In fact, there may be cases where I don't even care about the iron armor. I just run out there with my cobblestone, put my bridge. If I die, no problem. Too bad real life isn't that way, huh? Oh, I just died, no big deal. Left my stuff at vault, so who cares? Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I apologize for that. So here is a nether fortress, right? I keep wanting to say portal. It's nether portal, nether portal. I say that so much every time I say nether and follow it up with another word, I want to say portal. Notice that these towers, some of which are pretty thick, they're more like supports, right? This is a great one right here. I can use this, and I've actually crafted a bit of a crude spiral staircase of sorts. This is how you can get access to the levels that matter in the nether fortress, right? So we go up here, and up here's our piece de resistance. The thing we've all been waiting for, my mob grinder for blazes. I don't want to fight blazes right now, because I just have on my iron armor, and I don't want to fight blazes with iron armor. I could, and chances are they wouldn't do much damage, but why? Alright, well those are the basic preparatory steps for surviving the nether and finding what you need so that you can thrive in the nether. Alright, well I'm pretty secure now, right? I've got this whole cobblestone walkway going on. So the fact is, I don't need any of this iron armor right now. But I may be going out to get some glowstone soon or something like that. And in that case, I can use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this here in this chest. I'll build other chests farther down too. This is my risky Nether iron armor setup. That's a hell of a name. Leave a little extra cobble too. Alright, and if you do those things, you'll be okay. Now, I got pretty lucky. The Nether portal that we made spawned pretty close, within like fewer than 100 blocks of a good solid Nether fortress. Usually it's a little bit harder than that, not much harder. Usually you can find one within an hour. I found mine within 5 minutes because I got lucky. And that happens. When that happens, you take it. But normally you'd be exploring for a good solid hour or so. So you want to be well equipped and well prepared for that. And those are the main preparatory steps to doing well in the Nether. Alright. The next tutorial will cover where we go from there, how to actually make the path, and you can actually see me forming some of the path up to the spawner, up to the blaze spawner, what will become the blaze trap, or if you prefer, the manual blaze grinder. And then after that, I actually sort of show you that grinder in action. And once we do that, we've basically beaten the Nether. There are a few more things we want to get out of the Nether, but the main thing I'm going for is I'm going for blaze rods. And once I get those, I can start to make potions. I can also, very important, I can also use those and combine those with an ender pearl. I can combine the fragments from the blaze rod and combine that with an ender pearl, and that gives me the Eye of Ender. The Eye of Ender does two things. Number one, it makes ender chests, which are great. And number two, it's actually necessary for quote-unquote beating the game by going to the end. You use the Eye of Ender to locate a dungeon, and the dungeon is, of course, where the end is located. And then you need Eyes of Ender to activate the Ender portal. We'll get to that later. But for now, our trip to the Nether is done. I'll probably do one more quick tutorial after this on some odds and ends, such as getting glowstone. But for now, we're finished with the Nether. We've done what we came here to do. We've set up our blaze spawner. You can check out the videos on that. And from there, we want to go back to base and start making some cool potions, because my next step is to invade an ocean monument. And that will be another tutorial. Until then, I wish you happy Minecrafting.